everyone. I am Adelina. Welcome to this channel. I am a European Law Master's student and I also work at a women's shelter. This channel is mostly about productivity, motivation, and study methods. That's what we talk about the most. And today I wanted to get into a special way of doing to-do lists that I got from the book Working Hard, Hardly Working by Grace Beverly. And it's going to be a quick video, and I'm going to go through the way she suggests to making to-do lists. I've been applying this the past 3 weeks, and it has been life-changing for me, and I really want to share that with you guys. By the way, is my shirt making eye contact with you guys? I'm kind of in a Clarissa Pinkola Estes phase where I'm just chewing through all her books, beginning with Women Who Run with the Wolves, so kind of feeling this vibe right now. But anyway, let's get into the video now. Now, Grace Beverly talks much more at length about these steps, so I have simplified them pretty extremely. I have made 3 steps that I want to share with you guys. So step number 1 is to determine the nature of each task. And first of all, maybe you will thinking, what is the value of this? I would say sometimes productivity is not about just going headstrong into things. Sometimes it's about a strategic approach. And many of us do feel overwhelmed by to-do lists, and having kind of a new perspective and a new way of doing them, a new approach to to-do lists may very well be that answer for you. So I will share something that has helped me, as I am someone who tend to be pretty overwhelmed by my to-do list and not know where to start, and you just feels like my responsibilities are hovering over my head. And I really appreciated this breath of fresh air from Grace Beverly's book. I have not heard about this way of doing to-do lists before. And having said that, let's start with step number 1. As I mentioned, you have to determine the nature of each task. That's where you begin. So, how Grace defines it is in quick ticks, tasks, and projects. Okay, a quick tick is something that takes 5 minutes or less, such as maybe answering an email, or something else you have to do that takes less than 5 minutes. But a task is something that takes 30 minutes or more. So a task may be drafting a response to a lawyer. It may be writing the history part of your report for school. So it is a task is something that takes 30 minutes or more. But a project is, of course, something more ongoing, something more maybe long-term. Maybe a project can be even a course you're having right now. So in your to-do list, the first thing you should do is determine the nature of each task. You can divide them into 3 columns and write in which ones are projects, which ones are tasks, and which ones are quick ticks. And of course, you can also do this for each project. You can divide each project into tasks and quick ticks, because every project is dividable into smaller tasks. So you can use this form of doing to-do lists for just one project, or for your to-do list as a whole, or you keep maybe several to-do lists, one for each project and one for the things you have to do that are outside of your projects. Okay, having done that, we move on to step number 2. Now that you have completed step number 1, extremely simplified from my account, Grace goes much more in depth about each step in her book, and she also structures it a bit differently than I do, but this is how it just really works for me in my brain, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So step number 2, after you have determined the nature of everything on your to-do list, you have either divided them into tasks, quick ticks, or they are an actual project, then comes step number 2. And step number 2 is to prioritize. And that is also in 3 columns. There is urgent, and there is schedule, and there is not urgent. So on urgent are things that are, obviously the most urgent thing to do right now. Maybe not right now, but it can be even with the time frame of a week, or just the things that need to be done first. And schedule is something that you can schedule for later. You will find a space for it in your calendar. It's something you need to schedule. It's not the most urgent thing to do right this week. Say you're doing a to-do list for this week. Urgent are the things that really need to be done that week or should be prioritized that week. That is the goal. And schedule is something you will try and schedule in, and not urgent is something that can wait. And that is how you think about the prioritizing process, which really worked well for me in my brain. I hadn't really used this form of prioritizing before. I just saw a big to-do list and I might just jump on the easiest thing. Like a quick tick, like responding to an email may feel like you're actually being extremely productive, but in reality, that may not be the thing you should prioritize right now, even if it's a quick tick. And that is what number 2 is about. And now to step number 3, which I think for me personally has made the biggest difference these 3 weeks that I have tried out this way of doing to-do lists, and to then share my experience with you guys, is to see where you have time blocks, to time block, and see where you have spaces of time between your fixed commitments. So right now I'm basically working 9 to 5, or it's actually 4 p.m., but sounds much better to say 9 to 5. And I actually commute. So for me, I have 2 hours in the morning and I have 2 hours after work. And that is a time block for me that I could be using for something that I need to do. So basically you identify all your time blocks during your whole week. If that is 7 hours on Sunday, you identify that time block. And then you will be able to see on your calendar. I have this calendar where I can see even with like the times of the day, with the hours, which I find really helpful. And I just fill with a round space around the time block where I could be using to do something that I need to do. So this was I think a great tip to just, it made me get an overview of my week in a completely different way. I could actually just see where around my fixed commitments which is work for me, where I have the time to do the other things that I need to do, the other things that I have going on. For me, it's other projects. It's, for example, this channel. So I started to take the tasks that I have identified and according to urgency, which was step number 2, to time block them. And how you should time block is according to your energy. That's where it comes, where you have to know yourself. Are you the most clear-minded in the morning, or are you actually someone that can't work on trains, for example? Maybe you should be doing something else, like reading a book you've been wanting to do. That could also be a project for you. I don't know. That's how you time block according to your own energy. You see where you have spaces of time in your week, and you know yourself. So according to your best knowledge of your own energy, you time block. Where here I can do quick ticks in the afternoon, for example, on Thursdays, because I'm usually very tired Thursday afternoons. So then I can do just things that take 5 minutes or less, and I can just go through them, chew through them, and do them on Thursday afternoon. Okay, great for you, you identified that. But on Sunday mornings, I just have this spur of inspiration, and that time block where I have 3 hours before I go to the gym, I want to write on the book that I have planned, for example. And I really enjoyed this. This was really changing for me. I have felt more productive, but also calmer. And also, I have felt like I'm using my own energy and getting to know myself better. When do I actually work the best? When do I want to do quick ticks? There is less confusion for me. There is less mistake making. Say I'm extremely clear headed on Sunday mornings, but I haven't really thought about these 3 steps, so I just take the task in front of me, and that might not be my priority, might not be the best thing to do when I am in a very clear minded space. Maybe I don't need that much brain power for quick ticks. These quick ticks that I try to do on Sunday morning when I'm most clear headed, I could have been doing Thursday afternoons when I'm really tired, because quick ticks don't take as much brain power, and that's why we identified the nature of the task. And I also know, because I did step number 2, how urgent each task is. And that, guys, is The Revolutionary Way of Doing To-Do Lists by Grace Beverly. I really recommend reading the book because I have simplified everything extremely here. But I will also just 5 really quick tips from her, just general tips when it comes to day-to-day productivity. Okay, guys, now some really quick tips that I took from Grace Beverly's books that are just general things I want to mention quickly is to take 1 day in the week off, or preferably the whole weekend, but if you can't do that, 1 day is great. If you can't get your brain going, read an article on the topic. This really helps. Say you are writing some science project, but you just can't get into it, try to read an interesting article about it and see if that gets your brain going and sparks your interest for the topic. Then we have also the thing I mentioned earlier, actually, to do the things that take most brain power when you are most clear-minded, whether that is the evening or the morning for you. And we have number 4, or if this was 5, I am unsure now, but this is the last thing. It is to see how you respond to foods. I haven't thought about this before, but I am very sensitive in how drinks and foods affect me. For example, I can never have coffee after 2 p.m. And I know exactly how much coffee I can have. I can literally feel it in my body when I'm having too much coffee. For example, those things are great things to think about. And maybe to substitute drinks in the afternoon. I have been really looking for a very long time for a drink to substitute coffee in the afternoon for me. And I found dandelion root coffee, which is caffeine free, and I can really recommend that one. And so you're just mindful about these things and take them in whichever direction you like. But as I said, it's a great book. If you want to get deeper into all of this, if it sounds interesting, I would really recommend to read it. I hope I could at least give you some direction in what I have been doing this past 3 weeks, and how I have practiced this knowledge in the book in my life. And that was all for today. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. I will see you next video or next stream. Have a great week, and thank you for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe if that's something you want to do. And I will see you. Bye, guys.